is now okay, machine processable, machine readable, everything. But it is finally creating a data silos. Suppose you are having some data, your neighbor is having some data, all you have made the machine processable. But maybe you and your neighbor is like libraries. So Rajoshi's libraries or science libraries or Calcutta University library having same particular like alchemist book, data about that book is having cataloged in all three libraries, and all three places catalogers have worked hard to create the record. But that is of no use na. Same thing, why reinvent the wheels? So instead of uh, putting effort on creating every time new data, and but maybe that data is available somewhere else, and maybe you are having X information about that, and some other person is having Y information about that, but both are related about the same source, so you can connect it. So that is what link data came into the picture, that with meaningful links connect the related data sets. Both are related things, like alchemist book is so and so, some data is there, and you are having some price related or some online websites, Amazon and all, they have that price information that this book is available at this price, and it is available in nearby this bookseller, or you can go and read that book in a particular library. So this type of information can be obtained at a centralized place, so the whatever user wants, if you want to purchase the book, if you want to read the book, he can get the information at one place. So that is what link data came into the picture. So it is a web of data with meaningful links and all connected to each other. So link data definition you can go through on Wikipedia. Main fact is link data describes a method of publishing structured data so that it can be interlinked and become more useful. So it should be structured with by using some metadata schemas are there, and it should be interlinked. Whatever related things are, that should be linked. Then HTTP, it should be in hypertext transfer protocol type URIs instead of using 128, 172 like that. This type of things we should not use. We should use standard protocols, whatever World Wide Web has given to us, so that everyone should be on the same platform. Then this enables data from different sources to be connected and queried. Suppose you are using some other standard to publish a link data, and other person is using some other things, so it won't be a uniformity. You won't be able to exchange the data, you won't be able to connect to the related things, though you are holding a very much relevant information and it is very related. But if it is not uniform in implementation, you won't be able to connect to each others. Suppose if I speak in Kannada and you are speaking in Bengali, we won't be able to communicate to each other. So we have to use a common platform like English, whatever which language we are using. So we both can communicate and understand, and similar things we can share. So link data basically relies on these four principles. Use URIs as names for things. You have to use uniform resource identifiers as name for things. It should be hypertext transfer protocol based, so that in World Wide Web it can be used everywhere. And when people will look for that particular information, that should be in a form of some standardized metadata schemas, so that everyone understands and they can use that data and use links to other related things, so that they can discover some more things about more information about that particular thing. So some example is there, like this picture was clicked in Delhi. So what is the relation between them? So all the three persons are alumnus of DRTC. ARD Prasad sir, Sudipta Ram, and myself Vikas. So what is the relation? They knows each other. And how to do this one? I have used friend of a friend metadata schema type. So it should be standardized. So they knows each other. And where it has been clicked, it is based near Delhi. So Delhi also has a DBpedia page and all. And DBpedia, this one, is actually a link data version of Wikipedia, you can say. Whatever data in a computer understandable or processable form, it is presented in DBpedia. It extracts information from the Wikipedia right hand side information boxes you have seen. So from that it extracts the data. So basically linked data or this semantic web, this has a foundation in this triple form RDF statement: subject, predicate, and the object. So this is the resource, one book, details from the DBpedia, because I am getting deep from DBpedia data in a linked data form or a semantic web enabled form. So it will be standardized and all the places system can understand. So what is the relation? Is property. What is the property? It's a creator. As a creator, Coelho. So property value Coelho. This also I have taken from DBpedia, so that it will be also represented in a standardized form. Rajushi, how we can take any doubts or something is there?
Actually, after your session, your session is over, we will take the question one after another in the chat box only, and I can read it out for you. I can read it for you, not a problem. So you can smoothly go on, and I would request the participants to please note down your questions wherever it occurs, and you will just you may ask it later after the session is over. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. So next is, after linked data, technological things all over. Now finally we are coming back to our library, bibliographic data or cataloging data, whatever we say. So bibliographic data, as we know definition, it is a record entry of bibliographic index of a library and represents, describes or a specific of a particular record or all. So what it does contain: year of publication, piece of bibliographic data, full catalog entry, catalog record is bibliographic record, like that. So this is a screenshot of WorldCat. So WorldCat, like suppose for this particular book, they have this type of data they have captured. This was normal our cataloging data. In this they have implemented the linked data things. So the same thing we can now also we can see, have a look. Like suppose I have searched a coronavirus related one book. So in WorldCat, this is a WorldCat website. So they were having their details, ISBN numbers and all, tags, everything. Along with that, they have this linked data thing. So whatever information they capture about that particular resource, they encode in the form of a linked data also, so that it will be machine readable and directly from Google or whatever search engines are there, from there itself we can search and get that one, because they have that in which American libraries this particular book is there and all, that type of thing. So you will be next is IAS. So why should libraries care about linked data? If we don't have any profit or what benefit we will get, then only because the WorldCat and all those are big organizations. But in a small libraries, what we can do, what how our own small college library or a school library or a university library or a R&D library, like what I am working for. So in this type of environment with limited resources, as we all know, resources are not plenty, you will not get that much of fund and all. So whatever we have with limited resources, we have to manage and we have to do it. So how we can do? So what benefits we will get? People can more easily find library resources on the web. That what we have seen. More creative applications based on bibliographic data. We can make 1 or 2 case studies are there. There we can see this one. Opportunities for cataloging efficiency and innovations. Some innovations will come, so your users or faculties, they will also admire that, okay, something innovative thing from libraries have came. So like this earlier bibliographic record, author, title, like that scattered information was there. Then what we will do through semantic web and all, so that person and title, we have to put a relation, is an author of, so that boundary get diminished and that information will be accessible and processable by the machines. So bit of information is connected with the relationships. So now this can be used in a different way, like particular author. So he would have written some more books. Whatever we were doing in cataloging also. If same author is concerned with other books also, we used to use. So in this, in a web form, we will get this person is related to one more book or author of some more book. This title on this some critical things has been written, or some movie has came, some videos are there on YouTube, like that. Those things can be connected. So your user will get with particular item, he will get audio, video, YouTube links, Google links, everywhere he can go through your OPAC only. So some of the initiatives in library world, so many are there, just few I have listed here. So GIST, Jinan Index Search Tool, this is I found that a very useful type of thing, this one. If you have some manuscripts or something in your library, like a few days back Rajursi was telling he was having some manuscripts in his library. So this type of things, we can take an example from these implementations, and we can in our libraries, with the help of our simple scanner and all, or our mobile Android itself, you are getting now apps to scan the documents and all. With that itself, you can make use of this one. So first one, or if time permits, second one also, maybe we can see, just have a look. So first is Jinan Index Search Tool, how they have made, how they have converted this one. So this was developed at 2013 in the university. Then what was the aim? Web-based finding aid for collection of primary sources of Jinans, or Jinans means devotional hymns, housed at Harvard University Library. It was there in a hard copy form. So they wanted it to in a form of linked data capabilities, so that people can search and use effectively. So they've developed this GIST 3.0 in 2016. So we can have a look what was their goal and all. So with the help of BFREM, because Mark 21 and all, so they want to in top of that they want to use linked data. So BFREM technology they have bought. So model is there. This also we can have a look. Like yeah, you will get from a Library of Congress LOC website details of the BFREM model, how it works. So some of the problems of Mark, to remove that one and to enhance it, they bought this one. And this is their GIST that index tool. So what they have made, this Jinans are there, which year it has been published or what, then description, scripts, locations, where it is located, then pages, from which page number to page number, then catalog data, full text, and Jinans like this you will get. This thing is disturbing. 1 second. Yeah, like this. So just they have digitized, and with this, in addition to this, they have attached the keywords, and those things are in linked data form, so that from the Google and everywhere they can be searched and it can be ended to the library. So people will be knowing, researchers suppose from India or some other country, they want to learn but they cannot travel to this university. So through this one, if they are doing some research on this one, or they have some interest on this particular thing, is Ismaili religious literature, they can search and finally they can get the things. But directly they were not knowing that this particular thing, but unknowingly also through Google they can come across these resources. So like this they have given, and this is normal, they are cataloging data and all. So to make Jinans accessible to researchers and scholars for textual criticism or some advancements and some work they can do on this one. So inputs of the for the project, how bibliographic metadata and all they have taken, that also if you want you can go through. And that main source of information was from the indexes of the book as source of data. Then same way what I told, URIs you have to take, vocabularies you have to pick, then standard vocabularies, and in a form of linked data with subject object predicate in triplet forms like this, we have to represent that one. And FRBR group 1 entities, that only they have used in a form of BFREM model. then resource type, biframe
Yeah,
category,
because
URI.
I would just like to interrupt a while. I mean,
Yes,
you
yes.
just better go on with a little description of what is BPM and all, because as you know, yeah, we have a range of participants from range of
Okay.
from the level of I mean
Hmm.
their background, etc. So then we have time, so you can please be a little descriptive in your description.
Okay, okay. And the main problem is that if you are not deeply into this one, then technicalities it will be little
Yeah.
difficult.
You know,
Okay.
need not to dwell upon the technicalities. Just elaborate by one line or two. I mean,
Okay, one
or
more.
maybe you should mention the background of it. And in then again in one line or two. Don't
Okay,
much
just
description is not needed. Just a one line or two, so that people can pick up from the clue you are giving, or they know, they have the idea, they know that what to search after this webinar is over. For more information.
something in a simple way.
Don't bother if
Uh,
it is.
no, no, it's okay. I will try.
You are on
So,
the you are on the B frame. You are on the B frame slide. Just before that.
yes.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
biframe
yes.
model. 1 second. Yeah, this screen also it disturbs a lot. So, in biframe model, this is the model. This person is not going. How it will go? Yes. Now it has gone. So, if we know that work instance and item, that FRB are group 1 entities and all. So work is what? Particular concept or something. See, highest level of abstraction of work in the different context reflects the conceptual essence of the catalog resources. The resource what you are cataloging, that is the work. What idea or what thought content has been captured into that. And particular book or a audio or a video, in what media it has been published, that is the instance. And one particular instance has an item, the copy you have in the hand is that the item. This is the what in bframe model 2.0 they have explained. Okay, Rajsi, done this one. And back to this one. So bframe model same like entity relationships, means subject
Thank you so
object
much.
predicate type. They
It
will
is
be
good.
so they will just means whatever it is available, just you have to represent in subject, object, and predicate, so that system should understand what it is and what is the relation with the other thing. Like my name is Vikas, he is Rajorsi. How we are linked? We are friends. So like that, everything in linked data or semantic web will have these three basic things: subject, object, and predicate. So just with relations, you have to explain, and same way you have to represent. Same thing they have done, resources and that URIs, everything, and in the form of URIs. So it should be web based, na? So that is why on a web, if you want to put a particular data or something host you want to do it, then you need it in the form of a URIs. This is what triplicate in a triple form, and they have some tools they have used, mark XML format and all to generate. So this is what it looks like. So author, title, and which year. So author has written this particular title in this year, has been published. So this side title, description, collection. So along with whatever information we used to put in a formatted triples for human consumption, this is for human what we can see, and this extra enhancement in the form of linked data or in form of triple, so that computer itself can navigate and give you the results. So in this way, title and all, summary and detail view. Then this one, like earlier, WorldCat was separate, he was separately hosting in his library. Now they both with linked data, they connected each other. Like this particular resource is available in this particular library of the America, like that. So in the form of linked data. And from here, you can get the what triples they have used on WorldCat website, how they have implemented schema.org, which metadata schemas they have used. You can get a detail from WorldCat website on bottom link. That is what I tried to show on this WorldCat. This bottom you will get this link data tab. So here you can find out all schema related, what they have used, which languages and all, what in the RDF form and all, triple and triple, then turtle format. These are different type of formats available for converting the data into your web-based or computer understandable form. So those things you can download and you can have a look afterwards. And second, one more thing simple is this, during World War II, Dutch Republic, they have so many underground newspapers, hard copies. So how they can make it available on the web just by simple only scanning and putting on the web, that will be your limited to your library. So with link data capabilities, they can put this one accessibility to the web based itself. From the Google itself, the user can search and find in a more relevant way and easily. So they also implemented like this. It was in hard form. So like this normal libraries, they were storing everything preserved like this in a formal catalog way. Their OPAC was showing this one. So then in 2010 they decided to digitize. So like this they started full text. So scan, OCR, but still what was the missing? Semantics. Meaning was not there. What sort of illegal newspaper was it? Like this, if you put questions on Google, from this your just a scanned paper, it won't be able to answer. So you have to provide the answers also. And how these answers will come? If you put everything in a triplet form, means subject, object, and predicate. So then it will be easy for the computer to understand what that particular newspaper says, what particular that information is all about. So they can easily understand and they can put. So that descriptions, content, context, in Wikipedia it was there. So with Wikipedia, they converted it to DBpedia and Wikidata in the form of link data and all. So, and main information book contains illegal newspaper entries and all. Unique ID like this text was there. So now finally they converted it to triplet form and DBpedia Spotlight. This also I want to share with you. This is a very good tool. Again, this thing is disturbing. This project is a very good tool for converting any textual data into link data format. Easily you can do it. Whatever text you have or something, miss passage or something, you have to enter here, and with a click, simple click, they will convert with whatever related information is available on the web. They will link it, and same source code you can use and implement in your project and all. So for textual data, this one is good. So they use this one DBpedia, like this type textual data was there, and in DBpedia form they implemented this one. This is the Spotlight, the DBpedia Spotlight, what I was telling, their screen. So this textual information, you have to just copy paste, drag and drop whatever you do, and it will connect with the related information on the web. And these annotated forms, these underlines are there, na? They're different. So that will have that, if you click that one, it will lead it to you some other information on DBpedia or Wikipedia. DBpedia is nothing, just link data version of the Wikipedia data. So with this easily on 1 minute or some few seconds it will take, and it will convert your data to the semantic web link database. This is another tool, Silk. This also you can use for in triplet form representation and all. But still this link data and all, some challenges are there, like link maintenance. Suppose a particular website or particular thing you have connected today, after few days and few months, whether it is up or not, or whether it is down, so that link maintenance and all, this is a little problem. Licensing, whether it is leading you to a open source or a closed or a proprietary thing, that you have to see, and whether it is encroaching into some other person's privacy and all. So these type of things, little trust, quality, relevance, as we know that Google gives lot of untrusted garbage type of things also it will throw on you. So that relevance and all, we library people have to inquire, and we have to see it whether it is relevant and useful for us or our users or not. So this was my small brief presentation. Rajarsi. Hello, Rajarsi.
Because you are not audible actually.
One second.
Okay.
Rajarsi, it's okay. Over. I have finished.
Okay. You have finished. Thank you for your enriching and enlightening talk. Now, may I ask the participants if you have any questions, please feel free to write in the chat box. Is there any questions from the participants' end? Or shall I ask myself? I guess participants are so mesmerized on their part that they have forgot to ask him. Anyways, I have this question that DBpedia Spotlight you are talking about. May I know because I mean, as far as I see this whole linking project of cultural heritage is concerned, as far as I see to it, I find that there is a vital missing link in this linked open data project everywhere. This vital link is caused by perhaps the lack of the OCR. I mean, you have talked about typing and copy pasting things in the DBpedia Spotlight box there, but consider that I have a corpus of scanned images of some rare documents or all. How should I? Then I need to make it a text. I need to first OCR it in order to make a text format. Then again, we do not have proper open source free source OCR. We have one with the Google, but it's only for the English language. But for the indigenous language, for the languages of India, perhaps there are so many languages. Even for Bangla, I do not know of any convincing OCR, open source OCR. So this is the problem, I guess.
Yes, this is still a big problem for us, miss everyone. Like this Jinans, the original language.
I think there is a
this was in Arabic type
from Bangalore.
Am I audible?
Right? Yes, now you are audible, but you have heard my question?
Yes.
You heard my question. Okay.
Like this,
I'd like to hear comment
something like this. This is in some language, Urdu or something. So same way what you are telling, like
Mhm.
you have in Bengali or something, you have, but OCR is not there. Like particularly for this one also,
Yes.
no OCRs, they cannot interpret it. So what they have to do based on understanding, means some subject expert will decipher this one,
Mhm.
and they will encode it in the form of subject object predicates. In that form only you have to provide as much as information about a particular script or a particular page of information. Otherwise this DBpedia and all, still they are limited to English, and that too in a proper way it should be there, then only they can do it. It is at a, you can say, at a infant level. Like this
Yeah.
particular, this screen is visible to you, na?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, like simple, this text I have copy pasted. Now
Mhm.
whatever in a Wikipedia form, they have connected it, like Germany. So if you
Mhm.
go to Germany, it will lead you to the Wikipedia page of Germany. All
Oh, I see.
related information in the form of Wikipedia in semantic way, they have.
ওকে ঘুমাতে শুরু করলো বাজার না ওই বলছি
একটা প্রেশারে করবে
বাবাকে নিয়ে চিন্তা হচ্ছে
কোনোদিনও প্রেশারে আমি
Someone is having some pressure, I think. Hello, Rajarsi.
Can you listen to me? Tell me.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And I was just asking this thing. I mean, can you show us the end result of the annotation that is done in the DBpedia Spotlight? I mean, after we put text in that and we annotate it, how does it look like in the linked open data format? Can you show that? I mean, is it available on the free and open source platform out somewhere in the Google?
Let me see.
I mean, your video is off now.
One
That
second.
won't be a problem. I mean, when you annotated it, what would be the end
correct.
result?
I see the screen is visible.
Yes, yes.
Chrome is visible, na? Correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So this one, after annotated form, they are giving this one.
Okay.
This particular underlined and highlighted things are there, na?
Oh, I see. Yes, yes, yes.
Yes. So see this one, http://dbpedia.org resources types of city. What does city means? So they have
Okay.
connected it to Russia and all.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
like
yeah.
this they will do. And here this
Yeah.
confidence in best candidates, then select types, you will get different results with which one you want to connect it, with which database or which data set. Like by default it is operating on DBpedia. Then Freebase is there, schema.org that WorldCat is using, with that you want to use. Or if you have some custom Sparkle queries, means like for a normal database, what we do, SQL. So for
Oh.
semantic web, we have to use Sparkle queries. So if you have your own particular Sparkle query, that also you can use it here. And with that, it will annotate.
Okay.
Okay, na?
Okay. Thank you so much.
And this, if you download this full package and all, then you can, if you have custom database, your own, between among your libraries or among your friends, then you can connect them using this customized Sparkle queries and all.
Okay. I think this is all because from your end.
Yes, I have to move
Okay.
because 2 o'clock duty.
Okay. Yes. yes. I am just concluding it. I mean, this is very good to know about this DBpedia Spotlight tool, which is I guess for now is the best way to do annotate and link things as per their own database and give us the linked outcome in a free environment. So, but still there is something else is missing. I guess the visualization part of it. And as we know, as Bikash also said, the whole research and development endeavor is in its infancy. Therefore, we all who are participating to it, we all need to develop things, tools, which would help us eventually to go out of the silos of the library alone and be relevant to today's society, where we can link, annotate cultural heritage data which are in danger of being extinct. So it is duty for all of us to duty to the society we live in, and we should use these new novel tools that our resource persons are giving us and teaching us about. So I think this is it. This is the day 4 of WeLearn 2020. And I thank you all for participating to us. We will live let's see, we'll live tomorrow, and we will have 3 sessions lined up. That is tomorrow and that 2 days afterwards. Thereafter, we will wrap this session up and we'll issue all of you certificate who give us a feedback and answer in our Google form, which would be sent to you in the after the last day of after the session of the last day to the mail. Therefore, it's goodbye to you all. Thanks, Bikash, for joining us and
Thank you,
for your wonderful talk. Thank you, everyone.